Good morning. Welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Tuesday, April 28th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps, which are trading lower. We're down 0.7%. It's a negative opening this morning. Market's cautious. We got a big round of earnings announcements this week, and a lot of geopolitical events going on with Iran. These are the two key factors going on. The latest proposal from Iran, it's unlikely to be accepted from the White House. If you review it, it really doesn't meet any of the goals. I can't see how they're going to accept it. It essentially gives Iran a benefit, from this conflict. So I don't think that that's going to be accepted. We got to wait and see. President Trump, he's going to be in front of the media multiple times today. You remember King Charles III arrives in Washington today for a state visit, so he's going to be using that visit to be in front of the media, and the media is going to be peppering him with questions in terms of the Iran proposal. So we'll probably get a number of comments on it later today. On the economic front today, we got the Consumer Board. They're going to be releasing the Consumer Confidence Index today. That's going to give us new insights into the health of the consumer. So that's going to be important. But today's the start of the FOMC meeting. So, it's probably Powell's last, time that he's going to be chairman of the Fed. So we're going to have to wait and see. What else do we have? Corporate news, OpenAI has fallen short of its internal targets for user and revenue growth. That's not good. Starboard Value takes a position in AI software maker Dynatrace, ticker DT. They also took a position in Flowserve, FLS, Frank, Larry, Sam. That's something to keep an eye on. On the earnings front, Coca-Cola and GM showing some gains. Spotify, Novartis, UPS, they're trading lower after their earnings releases. After the bell today, we got Visa, we got Starbucks, we got T-Mobile, we got Robinhood. They're all set to announce. And then tomorrow morning, you got Aviva, you got General Dynamics, GE Healthcare, Biogen, Humana, and Brinker International, ticker EAT. They're all going to be releasing tomorrow morning. Okay, now we got to take a look at the markets in Europe, and they were great. They were trading higher, but they've since turned lower. You look at the DAX; it's now down 0.64%. It was up, about 0.1%, muted, but now it's down 155 points. You look at the FTSE, which was trading higher; it's now down lower by 0.1%. It was up, 0.4%. It's now down 0.1%. Mining and energy stocks were higher. I can't tell right now. But the CAC in Paris, which also had a gain of, 0.25%, now it's trading lower by 0.45%. So they all have recently gone into the red. And we're looking last night in Asia, and Asia was, was weak. The Nikkei fell 619 points, or 1.02%. The thing about it is, you saw weakness in tech shares, but the big issue was the Bank of Japan meeting. They left rates unchanged, but they raised their fears of inflation, and they're increasing their inflation expectations for the rest of the year, which really did cause the pressure on equities. And you're going to see that from the other central banks when they start having their meetings later this week. You look at Hong Kong, the Hang Seng finished lower by 245 points at 0.95% with weakness in chip stocks. China, on the other hand, it was lower by 0.19%, about 0.2%. Battery-related stocks were under pressure, which really, contributed to the subdued action that we saw in Asia overnight. Now we're turning our attention over to oil, and oil is popping again this morning. We got WTI trading at $100.33 a barrel. That's up 4.11%. You got Brent trading at $111.85. That's up 3.34%. The big news is UAE, United Arab Emirates. They're going to be leaving OPEC effective March 1. They're leaving OPEC. Wow. They've always been very contagious. It's really Saudi Arabia's playground. But OPEC's had enough. But OPEC, UAE has had enough with OPEC. They're going to be leaving. But, the markets still remain focused on these geopolitical issues, and waiting on Trump to respond to Iran's latest peace proposal. And that's really keeping, without any comments, it's just keeping that risk premium elevated. And they're not going to agree to the terms that are outlined. I just don't see it. But after the bell today, we do get the API estimates, which are due out after the bell today. So that's something to keep an eye out on for. Now we're turning our attention over to earnings reports, and we got to talk about Sherwin-Williams. That's ticker SHW, which is higher by 1.76% after delivering a beat of 8 cents on higher revenue. Then you look at shares of Coca-Cola, KO, they're up by 3.18% this morning. They delivered a 5-cent beat, and they did it on higher revenue. After the bell today, we got Robinhood. Their EPS is 41 cents. Expected move is 10.16%. Visa also reporting their EPS is $3.09 with an expected move of 3.93% when they release after the bell today. Okay, now we're talking about economic reports, and we're going to start off with the Case-Shiller Home Price Index, which is coming out at 9 a.m., followed at 10 a.m. by the Consumer Confidence Report. These are the two key reports, but, my attention is really going to be on the Fed. They're waiting for that Fed a press conference tomorrow, which is really going to be the highlights. Not so much the meeting, because they're going to change the language, but I don't think Powell's going to really be creating too many fireworks with his last meeting, because let's face it, he hasn't been officially removed as chairman. It's not official until that vote happens on Kevin Warsh. So that vote has to happen first before he's going to really comment on his intentions of what he's going to do. Is he going to stay on the board as a governor, or is he going to leave? Will he continue on as the Fed chairman in case the Warsh nomination doesn't go through? Too many unknowns. I don't expect to see any real comments from Powell tomorrow unless something changes between now and then. Okay, now we're moving on to some of the FANG stocks, and we got to start off with Google, which is trading higher. It's up about it's up. No, it's lower. It's lower by 0.8%. The EU tells Google to open up Android to AI competitors. Then we're looking at shares of Meta, META, which is lower by 1% this morning. They're preparing to undo that Manus acquisition after the China ban. And, shares of Tesla are also weakening. They're down 1.34% this morning. The NHTSA, National Highway Transportation Authority, they closed that probe they had into the Model Y without taking any action. So I guess that's kind of positive. Now we're talking about stocks in the Dow. IBM trading higher this morning. They announced the availability of AI development platform for enterprise software teams, and Salesforce, ticker CRM, Charlie Richard Mary. Their Slack division has taken legal action against Microsoft, citing anti-competitive practices in the UK. Interesting. Okay, let's move on. Salesforce is trading higher by 1.66% this morning. In terms of guidance news, Sherwin-Williams sees 2026 adjusted EPS coming in $11.50 to $11.90. Street estimates $11.72. That's positive. General Motors raised their full year adjusted EPS view to $11.50 to $13.50, where the Street estimate is at $12.24. So that's an uptick. That's an uptick. IBM, they're having a shareholders meeting today. Starts at 1 p.m., something to keep an eye on. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about our pick of the day. And I got to go with Humana, HUM, Henry, Uncle, Mary. Earnings are out tomorrow morning. EPS is $9.97. Expected move is 9.04%. Look at yesterday's call volume. 7,407 calls traded at 22.07. I mean, that's 3-1. I mean, that's positive. Open interest is 67,433 to 59,727. Tight, but positive. But the major brokers, they've been raising price targets on Humana, so they do like it. For me to get in the stock, I mean, listen, I'm seeing weakness in the market, so I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get in at a discount. I'm going to say, $222.50 as an entry price. $222 to $222.50 is kind of what I'm looking for. But I'm saying $222.50 as an entry price, because I do think the earnings are going to come in positive. So let's wait and see. But that's my pick of the day: Humana, HUM, Henry, Uncle, Michael. All right, let's move on and let's talk about the stocks that are hitting the tape this morning and see if we see any news that's hot, other than the OPEC news. With the UAE leaving, that's pretty big news. Coca-Cola reports Q1 cash flow operations. Free cash flow is $1.8 billion. Nice. UPS's Q1 brought significant external challenges, says firmly on target to reach their $3 billion cost out for a goal for this year. SNBR Sleep Number, they launched To a Good Life Sleep campaign. Let's see what else. CoreWeave shares down 7% after that OpenAI missing targets that I talked about earlier. Let's see what else we got here. Thermo Fisher to sell its microbiology unit for $1.1 billion. Okay, that's all I'm seeing today. Okay, let's talk about yesterday's pick of the day, which was Corning GLW. Listen, the earnings weren't bad, but this was just a miss. I mean, stock opened up at 176.30. I said 174.50, and I was thinking about going lower. I wanted to go lower. I just couldn't pull the trigger on going lower. And, sure enough, the stock fell to 165.5 and then popped back up to 168. Trading a little lower this morning, but, GLW was a miss any way you look at it. All right, traders, that concludes today's NewsWare's Trade Talk program. You guys know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.